The sun was setting, but it was still quite bright. As Sandra walked down the valley, night had descended on the land. She was only 8, but it was the road she walked here every summer. Her family had a small country house not far away, next to a river, and they spent all their vacations in nature. We had to hurry. Sandra was late for his walk today. At home they were already worried. She called her mom and told her she will be there soon. The forest loomed ahead. The girl was surrounded by darkness. Only somewhere ahead, at the edge of the forest, there was a faint light. Without a shadow of doubt, Sandra moved forward and soon found herself on a large dirt road. Moonlight illuminated the river running along the abandoned village. Sandra knew that this abandoned place used to be inhabited by people who used to farm the land. Now, there were only homeless people and gypsies. Sandra walked slowly down the village street. Suddenly, she saw the faint flicker of the candle in one window. When the girl entered, the floor creaked under their feet. Illuminated by the faint flame, the darkness dissipated slightly. The house was abandoned. Cobwebs hung in the corners. It was a realm of dust and dirt. When a woman's hand fell on her shoulder, the girl cried out in surprise. Then she turned around slowly. A woman stood before her. Her green, greasy hair was strewn about her. She was wearing a light, threadbare dress. She mumbled something to herself. Sandra listened. "Don't make any noise. The bell has rung. Get out your notebooks and textbooks. What's wrong with you? Where are you attacked?" Sandra asked, gently groping her body. Her touch made the woman moan. The old woman looked at the girl. There was something animalistic about them, and a chill ran down the girl's spine. "Yes," the old woman said quietly. "I shall remember, but I can't." "So what happened to you after all?" Sandra asked. "Come and sit down," she suggested. With difficulty moving her legs, the woman allowed her to help. Sandra set her in a chair and handed her a bottle of water. She drank greedily. The floors were cold, and the girl asked, "What about your shoes?" The woman looked at her bare feet in amazement, wearing only thin socks with large holes in them. "I don't know," she answered. There was something very strange about the look on her face. "What happened to me? I was walking down the street and then... Oh, you must have been in shock. You know, I can leave you here alone. My mom told me to help people. Come join us." She took the old woman's hand, and she rose from her chair. Together, they left the unsightly hut. Tina Anderson wanted to cuss when she saw who her daughter brought into the house at night, but then she looked into the old woman's blue face and shuddered. Large tears rolled from her eyes. Tina recognized her as her first drama teacher. She took her hands in hers and faintly moaned, "Forgive me. I am punished by fate for my evil deed. Marcus left me, and I love him so much. Your husband and daughter have been looking for you for so long. I will call them now." They left the phone. They questioned everyone who knew you. Sandra twisted her head from side to side, glancing at her mother and the old woman. The guest gazed into Tina's face and suddenly cried out, covering her face with her hands. Memories floated back to her. She used to be beautiful when she was young. She was a teacher. In a failed effort with a colleague who dumped her pushed Alexa Shields into the rush move. She married someone she didn't love. Bruce, her husband, adored Alexa, and their little daughter Sue. However, the web was sinking deeper and deeper into despair. She became irritable, shouted at her daughter every nothing, and swore at her husband. Alexa openly began to complain to him about his skill towards her, that her career didn't work out, and she was just a teacher, that she didn't need her pregnancy, childbirth, motherhood. She should have been doing her job while she was full of energy. Soon this thought so possessed the woman that she hated her spouse and filed for divorce. She, who was growing up, expressed her desire to stay with her father. She told him that it was very hard to live with her mother, her gloomy thoughts and accusations stealing her happy childhood. In her 40s, Alexa became a total recluse. She had little contact with her daughter. She had grown up in her father's care. She turned her back on her friends and didn't even say hello to the neighbors. Her only pleasure was working at the school. She was well regarded there, considered one of the best teachers. It was really hard to communicate with Alexa. Years of loneliness had taken their toll. She was rude, straightforward, implacable, and often unrestrained. And then Marcus showed up in class. Handsome, brunette, Latino American. It was a fateful meeting for Alexa Shields. She ran the teachers' club he joined. In one of her classes, she asked a guy to recite dialogue from a row. He didn't read well, but the main cast, while she had been preparing for a long time, suddenly refused to participate in this production. "You have to do some extra practicing," she said to him. "Marcos, we will stay after the general rehearsals for individual rehearsals. Otherwise, it won't work." The young man did not argue. He had already been informed of the teacher's assertiveness and rudeness. "Okay, wipe the sore expression off your face," she said to him during another rehearsal. "You will stay until we get the results we want." Under her judgmental gaze, Marcus Winder shifted from foot to foot. What a handsome guy, Alexa thought to herself. Slim, muscular, well-groomed, with clear eyes, stylish haircut, but as if lacking personality, brightness, inner fire. Everything he does is kind of stale, tedious. "Do you understand me?" she asked. "That's right," replied the young man. "Giggle, giggle, at least you're good at all." "Sorry, young, hot. More like brave but insane. Go home, Winter, while I'm very unhappy with you." In the evening, when she reached her apartment, she collapsed on the bed. She had no strength left at all, especially morally. It seemed to her that nothing would work out. If Tina Anderson played Juliet not badly, she did not like the work of Marcos. She certainly had no idea that at this time, in their rented apartment, Marcus and Tina were gossiping about her. "She's a nasty woman," said the boy. "Well, what does she like? I'm trying, and it's not like that. I just can't take it anymore." "Well, you know, she's the best teacher. You have to be in the play. Listen," the girl suggested. "Maybe you could seduce her. She's just a lonely woman. If you're an actor, you shall be able to play love." "Tina, I know you're a con artist, but to suggest this? You're sleeping with me. It's just so vulgar." "And vulgar and mean to Alexa. But I heard the director said that maybe this play will be announced at the annual festival in Los Angeles. Can you imagine how great it will be if the two of us were in? Is it okay that she's 20 years older than me?" "Would you like a man that age?" Marcus asked. "If he'll be useful, yes. Like it even law." Tina glared at him indignantly. "We're not playing with feelings here. We're trying to accomplish a goal." "All right. Got the grab. Go home. You're annoying me today." Winter said tiredly, flopping down on the bed. No, my dear, that's not why I'm here. Not while your parents are away working and won't be here for 2 months. I will get mine. She leaned over him and nibbled on his lips. He reached over to the lamp on the nightstand and turned it off. The next day, after a general rehearsal was over, Marcus approached Alexa with a glass of coffee he had brought from a machine on the first floor at the school. I got you some coffee. He handed the drink to the woman. She picked it up and immediately threw it in the trash can. When you get good at it, I will have coffee with you. Right now, let's go to work. We have to. Otherwise, we won't get any results. They practiced until 9 o'clock at night. Shields gave him looks, pauses, intonations. Finally, the woman's enthusiasm was transferred to the boy. He got into the role, began to read more emotionally, and sometimes improvised successfully. When they were done, they went out the back door. Alexa had asked the guard for the keys to the back door during the day. The couple stepped out the stuffy room into the fresh air. It was pitch black outside. Called a cab. When the cab pulled up, Shields sat in the back. Marcus opened the door on the other side and sat down beside her. Why didn't you sit up front? The woman asked. I get car seat there, he lied. As they drove, he moved closer and closer to teacher. Finally, their thighs made contact. As if Alexa didn't notice this physical contact, she pulled a jar of energy drink out of her purse and tried to open it. Let me help you, Marcus offered. He deeply opened it. Oh, I'm so thirsty. The woman greedily snuggled up to the Energizer. First stop, the driver indicated his presence. Well, here we are. Shields glared at the boy. We'll be practicing again tomorrow. So, don't relax. You can practice at home on your own. Marcus said goodbye and headed home. Alexa's persistence had results in dramatic change in the boy's acting style after a week of individual rehearsals. She was pleased with him now. Well done, she praised him at the next class. Let's go over to the lesson on the record right now and make the final adjustments. Let's go to my place, meet like people, and then do some work. Okay, Marcus agreed. An hour later, they were already in place. While the guy was watching the video on his laptop, the hostess hastily prepared an omelette, chopped in fresh vegetables, and took a bottle of wine from the refrigerator. Walking with a tray past the mirror, Alexa furtively glanced at herself and fixed her hair. Oh my gosh, what's wrong with me? Makeup, she thought and walked into the room. Come on, sit down to dinner, and we will talk it over, she ordered. I shouldn't offer you wine, but since we have an informal warm relationship, she grinned. Let's have a drink and relax. Marcus opened the bottle and filled the glasses. To your labor, he proclaimed a toast. Without you, I wouldn't have made it. Alexa's eyes filled with tears at those words. She tried to hold back, but she cried. Marcus, I can no longer hide my feelings. I can't pretend anymore. I've been alone for a long time, and my heart has grown stale. But at one point, you become very dear to me. I treat you like a man. She covered her face with her hands. Alexa, he whispered, it's a blessing for me to love you. Huge and overwhelming. I dream about you in class. He reached for her lips and kissed her passionately. They spent the night together. In the morning, Alexa was busy in the kitchen preparing breakfast for her lover. She felt so excited and energized that it was impossible to put into words. All the week before the premiere, The young man and Alexa practically never parted. They ignored the angry voices that whispered after them, condemning their union. The premiere performance, to which the entire school administration was invited, was a success. Alexa Shield accepted congratulations from her co-workers and acquaintances, and the student actors left to celebrate the victory in their company. Educators and guests gathered in the cafe, champagne poured by the river, and with joy Alexa had a little too much. The festivities were in full swing when Alexa felt like she really missed Marcos. She drove up to his house as it was starting to get light. She decided to give him a pleasant surprise, joyful and excited. The woman climbed the stairs and rang the doorbell. Marcos didn't answer for a long time. Then she saw his favorite face in the doorway and wanted to throw herself into his arms, but he stepped back, and Tina Anderson appeared from behind his shoulder. "Oh, hello." She dismissed the young man. Marcus' shirt on her body opened, and the teacher saw the girl's naked body. Don't be shy, come in," she continued. "You are our flagship and guarantor of success." "Shut up," Marcus stopped her. "I'm sorry, Alexa." He bowed his head guiltily. "I didn't want it to end this way." The woman didn't remember how she had escaped down the stairs and found herself on the street. She sat down on the bench and froze in one pose. She didn't move, even when the rain began to pound on the roofs. From that time on, she withdrew into herself. Thoughts of betrayal grieved her, so she often cried bitterly into her pillow. Her mood became gloomy, and she forced herself to get up, clean, and cook. The only thing that stimulated her was work. There she was not used to flaunting her feelings and behaved with restraint. Of course, her colleagues noticed that Alexa often frowned and looked sad, but they didn't ask her anything because they knew the whole story. Some judged her, some sympathized. The director suspended her from leading the club and working with young actors to avoid scandals. Another teacher took over. The play was successful at the Los Angeles Festival, and soon Marcus and Tina graduated from high school and left to study in another city. And Alexa kept suffering. She had lost a lot of weight, and her appetite was completely gone. One day, passing the hallway mirror, she lingered. Without makeup, a gowned and heavily sedated woman looked at her with lost eyes. Finally, the full horror of the state she had fallen into reached her. Alexa decided to go to a psychologist and deal with her mental health. And then, one warm May afternoon, she walked out of the clinic and headed for the bus stop. Suddenly, the woman felt a heavy blow on her head. When she woke up, she didn't remember anything. Alexa wandered around the streets until she joined a group of homeless people. That day, she slept in the basement. They had their own house there. Her new acquaintances traveled around the country. The woman traveled with them often. They lived wherever they had to. If they could find anything or get a handout, the years passed in the vagrancy and vagrancy. Thinking back of her life, Alex Shields went into shock. "I have lived many years in ignorance, knowing nothing about my relatives. I don't remember." The old woman bent her head and quietly cried, settling on the floor. "Mom already called your daughter. She'll be here any minute to pick her up." Sandra kneeled down in front of her. "Thank you, baby. Maybe this is my chance to live a normal life and get back to my family. Maybe God sent you as an angel into my life." to save my lost soul.